Minasan Ohayo gozaimasu. Welcome to the 2019 Tokyo Motor Show, where the excitement is high and the jet lag is quite strong. I've just got off a 12-hour flight, so if I start slurring my words, I haven't been on the Asahis, I promise. And we start here on the Suzuki stand, our first dose of oddness. And the theme this year for Suzuki is something called Waku Waku Switch. No idea what it means, but isn't that delightfully Japanese? And the result is this car over here. It's called the Wako SPO. It's basically a tiny plug-in hybrid coupe. You'll see the back actually pops out, turning it into a shooting brake at the touch of a button. It's all very cool. I'm getting flavours of the Honda Urban EV from it with all its retro touches. Absolutely love it. Might be my favourite car of the show, and who knows? Honda has put the Urban EV into production. If we shout loud enough, maybe they'll do the same with this. And come over here, because it's got a sister car. There's more Waku Waku to come. This one is called the Hanare concept. Now, it's a vision of what cars are going to look like when the driver is no longer needed. Essentially, it's a room on four wheels, a pod. That sounds very uninteresting, doesn't it? But somehow Suzuki have managed to make it interesting by putting this wraparound retro body on it. Having said that, if this is the future of driving, just shoot me now. Yes, look at this. Oh, the Every Go Anywhere baby room in collaboration with Combi. Snappy title there for a car. And as a father of two, this is pretty much my dream wheels. It's a car that's been designed entirely for parents. So you'll notice blinds absolutely everywhere for discreet feeding. And come around the back. Look at this. Twin changing stations. And of course, with a healthy dose of Japanese technology thrown in. So that box, I'm told, is for warming the bum wipes. Those are sprays for cleaning the bums. There's music. There's moving mobiles up here. Oh yes, this is a bit of me, this car. I might actually look into importing one of these. There was a time when I was cool, you know. Steady on, don't get too excited. It's the new Honda Jazz, or the Honda Fit, as they call it in Japan. A car beloved by OAPs everywhere. This is the 4th generation car. It's going to be hybrid only in Europe, and well, it is quite a significant car. I think they're going to sell 20,000 of these a year in the UK alone. Well, the population is getting older, isn't it? And I think that's all I can tell you about this before I fall asleep standing up. I'll be honest, I haven't got a clue what's going on here. I can only assume this is aimed at the motorcyclist who doesn't like getting wet, or the car driver who's sick and tired of getting wedged in width restrictors. Either way, I like its ambition. Somewhere in the corner of a Japanese man's brain, all this makes perfect sense. Well, that's very pretty, isn't it? But this is what we're here to see, the Nissan Aria concept. Nothing to do with Game of Thrones, I'm told. It is, in fact, surprise, surprise, another all-electric SUV concept. But this one previews the next version of Nissan's design language. So, the next face of the X-Trail and the new Qashqai. And it debuts quite an interesting piece of technology, something called ProPilot 2.0, basically a rival to Tesla's autopilot system. It can drive for you on motorways when there's defined lane markings either side. But unlike the Tesla, where you have to keep your hand on the wheel to let it know that you're there, this actually uses cameras to monitor you, so it can tell whether you've fallen asleep or if you've got an iPad strapped to your face. Clever stuff. Okay, the Mitsubishi Itec concept. Looks quite interesting, doesn't it? Is quite interesting, in fact, because underneath that beach buggy meets Transformers exterior is a plug-in hybrid powertrain, and not any plug-in hybrid powertrain, because the range extender isn't a petrol engine. That's too heavy. This is a gas turbine. It's not only lighter, it can also run on a variety of fuels as well, so diesel, kerosene, alcohol. I wouldn't recommend putting Jägermeister in the tank. It's got 4 electric motors, 1 for each wheel, and the party trick, I'm told, is that it can spin on the spot. No idea whether that's useful or not, but there we go. Trying to think of the last time I saw an open top two-seater SUV, and I think I've got it. It's the Suzuki X90. Look it up. Terrible car. Did you know that Alpina is massive in Japan? I didn't either. But they're people of good taste, because look at this, the new B3 saloon, and it is absolutely spot on. We saw the wagon version of this in Frankfurt, but here is the saloon. Here's the one you want. You might have seen some leaked pictures of the rear end of the new Bmw M3 online recently. If you can't wait for that, this is the car you want. Four-wheel drive, 463 horsepower from a reworked 3-litre straight six twin turbo. It will do 188 miles an hour, do 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. And just look at it. Classic multi-spoke wheels, body kit, quad exhausts. Oof. Yes, please. Say hello to the new Lexus design language. This is the LF30 concept, and it's quite bold, isn't it? What is it? It's an electric car. It shows that Lexus and Toyota are serious about joining the EV race. It's shorter than a Range Rover, about the same height as an I-Pace. It's kind of got bits of shooting brake, bits of hatchback, bits of crossover in it. Doesn't really conform to any one type of genre. It's got gull-wing doors. It's got a steering wheel that retracts in autonomous mode, but forget all that. That's just motor show guff. This is a statement of intent from the biggest car company in the world. This is definitely one of the biggest debuts at the Tokyo Motor Show, and the reason being that it is relevant for us back in the UK. They're going to sell this car from 2021 back in the UK from around 30 grand. What is it? It's Mazda's first electric car, and you probably got a bit overexcited when you saw the fact that it was called the MX-30, maybe imagining a two-seater electric sports car, but alas, it is another electric SUV. But this one, there's just enough difference in there to give it a different flavour, and I'll tell you why. First of all, Mazda hasn't given it an enormous battery. They haven't bothered messing around giving it a 300-mile range, because that's what customers think they want, but Mazda says they don't really. This will do 130 miles on a charge. Doesn't sound like much, but most people only use 30 miles a day. 35 kilowatt hour battery, and the exciting bit is the fact that it's got rear hinge rear doors, just like the RX-8. Could be quite handy when it comes to posting your kids in the back. And here's the big news as well. This car is going to see the return of the rotary engine to Mazda's lineup, not as a primary power source, but as a range extender in a hybrid version that's going to follow. You can always trust Mazda to do things a little bit differently, can't you? Now, I don't want to alarm anyone, but I think this Supra might not be entirely standard. A few cheeky mods here. Full engine swap to a Toyota V8. You can see the turbo screamer pipe popping out of the bonnet at the top there. A few body alterations and a full conversion to a competition spec drift car. Imagine the turning circle on that. Come around the corner. Oh, this is what we came to see. How cool is this? The Crema 935. Obviously built in the late 70s, around the same time as the 935-78, the Moby Dick from Porsche. Porsche wouldn't sell Moby Dicks to privateers, so Crema went out and riffed on the big whale tail, made its own version essentially. And arguably it's even a better looking car, especially in this Jägermeister livery. You can keep your martini. I'll have one of these. So we've headed upstairs, a bit more off the beaten track, to bring you some more oddballs from the Tokyo Motor Show. And as luck would have it, it doesn't get a lot odder than this. This is the Mitsuoka Orochi. I probably pronounced that very wrong. What is it? It's without doubt the ugliest supercar that's ever been made. And ironically, the supercar with the friendliest face that's ever been made. Can you see how it's smiling at us? Anyway, this car actually starts life as a last generation NSX. It's got a Toyota V6 in the back. How on earth could have they got it so wrong? This model, in fact, has been lightly molested by Liberty Walk, so it's been slammed, it's got the wider arches, actually improved things a little bit. Could this be a case of a car that's so bad, it actually becomes good? Let's leave that question hanging in the air. Believe it or not, we actually have to get a train to the other half of the motor show, which is fine. The only problem is, I have to deal with this, and I don't speak Japanese, but I'm going to have to give it a go. Get involved here. Oh look, there's an English button. That might help. Purchase tickets. Iomi, I think. Boom! Easy as that. Run. I haven't got any money, mate. Bet you didn't think trucks could be sexy, did you? Yeah, well, Isuzu is quite literally giving me a semi with this, its new concept truck. Now, at first glance, you probably think this is a rival to Tesla's all-electric semi, but it's not. There's a diesel engine back there because Isuzu still thinks at this size and weight, a diesel engine makes most sense. The idea with this concept is aerodynamics. It's been treated some proper supercar style add-ons to smooth the airflow, like these air curtains you can see in the front and these kind of floating pods down the side of the truck, so it cuts more cleanly through the air. It uses less fuel. Yeah, I think I'll file this one under least likely want of the Tokyo show. Just a quick reminder here that Japan Super GT Championship probably is the coolest race series in the world, and to make motorsport more interesting, all you need is a car that you can buy in the showrooms treated to a heavy course of steroids. Alright, quite a lot to unpack here. What we have here is some sort of GoPro sponsored short-range electric delivery vehicle. First things first, look at the face. That has to be the angriest car in the world. Why are you so angry with me? Look. And secondly, look down here. They've written the word delivery in English, but spelt it in a Japanese accent. Either that's a howling mistake or a very, very complex joke that I don't quite get. Very odd. See, the thing about dogs is they're great and all, but they do tend to drool on your sofa and then crap all over your garden. But Daihatsu has the solution with this. The robo-dog of the future. No more barking and keeping the neighbours up. No more stealing your sausages. Just a perfectly behaved pet. He's a good boy. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. Wow. How good is this? It's the Daihatsu Copen Gr Sport. Basically, a teeny weeny two-seat roadster that's now been toughened up with forged BBS wheels and some sports seats and a bit of a body kit, but it's still got 63 horsepower from a 660cc engine. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? But I still want one. It's basically Barbie suit. Alright then, first things first, Toyota has brought along a brand new sports car to the Tokyo Motor Show. It's called the E-Racer and it looks very cool indeed, but I'm not sure they've thought this one through because it is supposedly a semi-autonomous race car. That's because Toyota says, Akio Toyota, the boss of the company, says the fun doesn't have to stop when the driver isn't required. Well, kind of does, doesn't it? How are you supposed to have fun if the car is driving you around? Actually, it's only semi-autonomous, so the idea is the car is supposed to work with the human to learn its traits, to form a bond and a relationship with the driver, a bit like a horse and a human does. As I said, I don't think they thought this one through, but hey, it looks good, and the public are queuing around the block to take their picture with this car, so job done, right? How's this for a naughty little U-turn? You'll probably remember the original Toyota Mirai hydrogen fuel cell car was quite a horrible looking front wheel drive saloon thing. And out of nowhere, it's turned into this. Lower, wider, longer, and now rear wheel drive. Honestly, didn't see this one coming. No mention of drift mode, by the way, but we live in hope. No mention of figures either, other than this car is 30% more efficient than the first gen Mirai. So extrapolate that out, and that means a range of about 440 miles on a tank of hydrogen, which is more than any pure EV car you can buy at the moment. I'll tell you what, if I could actually fill this thing up anywhere, I'd have one of these. And on that note, that's it. That's us finished for the 2019 Tokyo Motor Show. Sayonara. I'm off for a kip and then to eat my own body weight in sashimi.